Hello everybody, it is Brony time and welcome back to Let's Play Angels with Scaly Wings. When we last left off, we arrived in the Dragon Kingdom, we met Remy, we met Anna, we gave her some of her blood, we learned about what this diplomatic relation thing is looking like, we're giving them PDAs with a bunch of futuristic technology, and they're giving us generators for something. Nearly spoiled there, I avoided that, but yeah. Well, the reason I'm back on the main menu screen and not where I last left off is simply because I made a decision. I'm going to see all the bad endings. In fact, some say that's the best way to experience a story. Hold up, let me silence my phone because I keep forgetting to do that. Once again, I haven't recorded in a while, so I'm not used to this. So, let me go ahead and, mute. There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, where was I? Yes, I decided I am going to do the bad ending. So we are going to date in this playthrough. It'll just be a bad ending. I want to get through all the bad endings first, to see what those would entail. Basically, I just have to avoid accidentally getting the good endings, because, I mean, that's what I did in my first playthrough. I just wanted all the good endings. But I decided that, you know what? We're just going to get all the bad endings right off the bat. So, I've decided I'm going to do Remy as our first bad ending. Well, no, wait, not Remy. Adine. But does Adine need... Hold up. Okay, no. Perfect. So, yes, I am going to do Adine's bad ending first because, you know, it's Adine. And I want to see the bad ending. I'm going to date him in order that I like the character. So, like, Adine will be first. Bryce will probably be second. Lorem, we'll get to him. So let's get back right into the game. So let's load up where we left off. Left off. Well, that was interesting. Did she ask for your blood too? Yeah. Did you give it to her? Yes. Oh, well, it's your choice. Got no idea what they might do with it though. I'm getting hungry. How about some breakfast? I'm all for it. I can't stand early mornings like this. That shouldn't be a problem. There's a cafe not far from here. What do you say, Mavis? I wouldn't mind to grab a bite myself. That settles it then. Luckily for us, the cafe was mostly empty when we arrived, as it was still pretty early in the day. Riza was quick to lead me to a table for two, prompting the dragons to get one of their own on the other side of the restaurant. Ugh, finally. Can't stand that guy being on my tail all the damn time. They say it's for our own security. I'm very much aware that is what they're saying. Approached by an individual appeared to be the waitress of the cafe. She was an interesting-looking dragon, who, unlike the others I had seen so far, was more akin to a wyvern, possessing two rather large wings as her forelimbs which resembled those of an oversized bat. Oh, it's the humans! You were able to correctly identify our species based on what we look like. Congratulations! That's a good one. Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine, and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? Today's special. Yeah, me too. Just make it quick. Sure thing. 2 specials coming right up. As I was saying, if you look at the big picture, you don't think there's just something off about this whole place? Where is it, really? If this is supposed to be a completely separate place from Earth, or even a different dimension, some things just don't add up. Don't you think so too? Let me just grab my tinfoil hat real quick. I've been here much longer than you have been. Maybe you'll see soon enough. I can't really say much more with you-know-who over there. He's probably listening to us right now. Yeah, he's a charming fellow. When I let my gaze wander, I saw that Maverick was looking in my direction. Our eyes met briefly, his expression not showing any discernible emotion. Well, I wondered whether it had just been a coincidence, or if he really was able to hear us from a distance. I do have some theories, and if I'm right, we might be in trouble. What kind of trouble? What are you talking about? Shh, be quiet. Let you know more as soon as I can. But for now, let's just play along. After all, we already have one of these babies. Pat the generous box for emphasis. God knows we need them. Oh, there she comes. The female returned, astounding me with her ability to balance the dishes on the edges of her wings. She placed her forelimb on the table and proceeded to move the dishes from her wing to us with a gentle push of her snout. There you go! Watch out! It's hot. Thanks. You're welcome. Apparently today's... You're welcome. That was Anna there. Apparently today's special consisted of an odd-looking fish of some sort. I was a little hesitant to try it, but considering the steam coming from it, it was probably better to wait a few minutes anyway. When the waitress brought our meals to the two dragons across the cafe and exchanged a few words with them, Riza leaned forward and whispered something to me. I'll send you a letter with a coded message later. You'll know what to do. Riza rose from his seat before he made it known to me that he still had a few things to do and left the restaurant, followed shortly after by the larger of the two dragons. But you haven't even touched your... fish. I wasn't in a hurry, so I spent a few more minutes in contemplation while I looked out the window. Not that this whole situation was already bizarre enough. There was also now the vague sense of danger conveyed by Riza's earlier words. I did not even have an idea what kind of threat might be lurking out there. Eventually, I took a bite of my somewhat unusual breakfast. I already thought the smell was quite peculiar. The taste had been even worse. I imagined it might be the kind of delicacy that had an acquired taste. One that I certainly hadn't acquired yet. I decided to get outside before it was too late. Are you done? Sure am. How'd you like it? I'll just say it's probably not for me. And you wouldn't be the only one to say that. Better wait outside just in case it decides to come up again. You tried the odd-looking fish. Sure thing. I stepped outside, taking in the scenery of this strangely familiar world. In the short time I was here, I had already found the similarities between their world and our own utterly fascinating. After all, we were talking about an unmapped place with never before seen form of life. As far as discoveries were concerned, even something as simple as a new unicellular organism or even bacteria would have been remarkable. Yet here I was, standing in the middle of the village, evidently built by this race of intelligent talking dragons, with a society not unlike our own. Riza didn't seem to share the same interest, and instead was more smitten with the generator. But given our reasons for coming here in the first place, I couldn't blame him for his enthusiasm being focused on something else. My thoughts were interrupted as something suddenly zipped past me, just a little too close, causing me to stumble back. It was a rather small dragon with a bag clamped in its maw, who apparently had somewhere to be. Oh, she's adorable! I regained my footing and watched as it disappeared into the distance. Even though I had seen enough dragons to recognize their various size, color, and other attributes, I guess this one must have been a juvenile of its species. Shortly afterwards, Sebastian joined me outside, having taken care of the tab. I gave her a generous tip on your behalf. I hope you don't mind. Of course not, as long as How nice of you. In any case, now that you've given us the PDA and Riza has the generator, you're free for today, so if you want to go anywhere in particular, let me know, or I could show you around town. I attempted to be given a tour, but considering Riza's words, I wanted to be careful, and not stray too far without knowing more about this world first, Jesus. I think I'll stay home for today. I still have to get used to everything, you know. I'll just accompany you back then. There we are. Home sweet home, for now at least. Well, if you need anything, I'll be outside until my shift ends. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, see you tomorrow. See ya. I hadn't really looked at the apartment much, so I spent the rest of the day investigating it and relaxing. I considered checking out some of my phone numbers Remy had left me, but I thought it was better to keep a low profile for now. I found the kitchen fully stocked with plenty of groceries, though the variety was wasted on me. I hadn't been a particularly great cook in the first place, but what was more, I didn't even recognize some of the things I found there. Whether they were edibles that we had back home that I just didn't know about or something completely alien, I wasn't sure. But I didn't want to take the risk of eating anything I didn't know. After all, it was possible that some of the comestibles might be fine for them to eat, but still be poisonous to us. I was also glad to find a shelf that was filled to the brim with a variety of books. I found the subject matter of man, myth, or reality to be quite intriguing. I had to give up after just a few pages due to its exceptionally dry writing style, which I wasn't inclined to enjoy at the moment. In the end, I settled for an adventure novel about a dragon archaeologist who stumbles upon the remains of a long-lost human civilization, after which he is hunted by an evil organization who wants to use the found magic artifacts for its own nefarious purposes. While entertaining, I had to admit that it reminded me a little too much of the trashy novels we had at home. I certainly found it amusing that certain tropes were not really unique to us as a species. though I wondered whether this kind of literature had fallen into disfavor here as it had back where I had come from. I was reading a particularly exciting scene in which the hero, Sheridan, uses one of the magical artifacts shaped like a pair of human hands holding a scepter with a globe at the top to prevent herself from being crushed, going into a bloody pulp by an ancient human temple's moving walls, when I suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Ah, hey look, it's Lorem. Shit! Wait, go back, please. There we go. Hello there, would you please sign here? I'm not signing away my rights with this, am I? I've got a letter for you that requires signature confirmation. I see. Looking over the clipboard the small dragon was holding up to me, I saw that the sender of the letter in question was Riza. There you go. I'm Lorem, by the way. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? What is this about? I'm just making small talk. Wait a minute, I recognize you. You tried to do the same thing with Riza. Maybe I should report you to your superiors for your inappropriate behavior towards your clients. But it's important. Please, just let me talk to Will for a few minutes. You know how it is. If you want an interview with one of the humans, you'll have to get permission from the proper authorities. Help me out here, Will. As an ambassador, you care about the accurate portrayal of humans in the media, don't you? Then you should talk to me. Otherwise, someone else will fill in the blanks, and who knows what they'll come up with. Let me show you something. Small Dragon opened his bag, rummaging through a number of letters and small packages. Huh, I think I lost it. Anyway, I wanted to show you some pictures of what people think humans look like. On some of them, they have like 4 heads and look nothing like you. It's crazy. What are you, Lorem? What are you, Lorem? A reporter? No, I'm just... Do you want me to remove him, Will? Is what he is saying true? Yeah, I guess. I see. That sounds pretty interesting, though. Alright, you can leave your number here and maybe I'll call you later, but that's all I can promise. Thank you so much. He quickly produced a small sheet of paper and scribbled his number on it. Afterwards, he sheepishly presented it with both hands. Alright, you got what you wanted. Off you go now. Yee! Sorry about that. Don't worry about it. I guess that should be all. I'll see you tomorrow then. Right. With all that commotion, I almost forgot that I was still holding Riza's letter. Within the plain envelope was a similarly plain sheet of paper with his handwriting. When I started reading, however, I saw that his wording was so full of pleasantries. I knew he hated that I assumed every word of it was fake to conceal his true intent. Hold up, let me turn the music down. It is way too loud for me. Way too loud. But I don't want to make it too loud. There we go. Oh yes, I also have mod settings. Let me check that out real quick. It's really just this guy's mod. Yeah, that's it. I hated I soon okay. He did mention I know what to do, but I was unsure of how I was supposed to decode this letter's secret message. I don't remember ever having a conversation about this topic with him, yet he still relied on me to remember whatever it was that I was missing. Or he thought I would just be able to figure it out on my own. This is what it said. Hello, my dear friend. I hope this letter reached you swiftly and in good condition. Fortunately, we were not able to catch up earlier, so I wanted to write you this letter. How have you been this last few years? What have you been doing? How's the family? I feel like there's so much we should talk about. Since we have not seen each other much recently, at least we have a chance to do so in this form. Quite an exciting venture we are on now, right? How have you liked it here so far? Made any dragon friends yet? Anyways, I'll be looking forward to your reply soon. Best regards, Riza. Various things came to mind. Only reading certain words or letters was one that I thought of immediately, but I couldn't make out anything after trying to find a system within its array of letters and lines. Maybe I had to look more carefully. Lines, of course. Maybe I was supposed to read between them. I didn't have an implement on me with which I could have been able to read fine print. Though with this handwritten letter, I doubted Riza could have done anything of the sort. After looking at it for a while, I came to the conclusion that the secret message said that Riza wanted me to. No, that's not it. No, that's not it either. Found out more about their government. Now I'm just guessing and hoping to get lucky. Flee through the portal as soon as possible. I don't feel like any of these options are correct. Have a pizza party. Why am I even still doing this? I did not do this in my first playthrough. Steal a certain book from the library. I have now reached the point where, statistically speaking, I should have gotten the right one. Either I'm just exceptionally bad at guessing, or I should start looking elsewhere. Find out where Maverick lives. It was a 50-50 chance, but then the right answer wasn't there to begin with. Break into the manufacturing plant. Okay, this is the last option. It was still wrong. If that's not enough to prompt me to finally start looking elsewhere, I don't know what else will. I'm unable to decode the message. Look elsewhere, Fritz. Or maybe you referred to the fact that we were both given an apartment. Considering the things they provided for us, maybe I just had to find the right object to decode the message. There were many everyday items here, though, and of course I still had no idea what in particular I was looking for. Let's look at the bookshelf. The bookshelf was stocked with quite a variety of books on different topics. Maybe it was something to do with the books. The shelf was full of them, but I suppose the hint could be hidden inside one of them. Which book should I look into? Draconic Desire. I was so young and naive back then, barely having reached the age at which the arduous process of finding a mate, settling down and starting a family became expected. Yet none of my peers interested myself. They were childish and crude and uncultured. I was lost in a sea of uncertainty, drifting, hoping to be found by the one day. Then I did. How fast time flies when you're happy. I can't believe this was just 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I found the one, my truest soulmate there could ever be. Like a wrecking ball, he came out of nothing, breaking all the barriers and entered my life. 2 weeks ago, I was nothing. Today, I am the happiest dragon alive. Who knew that of all the people alive, it only took the right one to write life itself? Who knew that to meet the perfect one, the only thing you needed was... I don't think there's anything in here. And who let this mess ever get to print? Sheesh. Yeah, that was not well written. Like, assault of humanoids from outer space. Act 1. It was a dark and stormy night. Relentlessly pouring was the rain outside, periodically interrupted by the loud echo of thunder again and again. So quick had its roaring staccato become that it almost seemed like someone was pounding against the door. No, someone really was pounding on the door right now. The door swiftly opened, and for the moment for which the house's owner had waited decades finally was here. Not on the field of battle do you meet me, human scum, but in the comforts of my own home do you seek to assassinate me? Feel my wrath! May it lead you to a slow and painful D-E-A-T-H! He screamed at the top of his lungs. Your resistance will only temper my blade, inferior creature. Taste my blade and one from it. The reply wryly came from the human invader standing within the doorframe. Hero quickly stabbed him with his magic pen. A lethal hit, which caused the human invader to slump to the ground instantly. So that's where he's being damn you, Hero, this is not over yet! While he melded into a red blotch, blotching up Hero's carpet. Hero looked up into the sky and realized all the thunder and rain had really been the UFOs of the invaders. Numerous enough as to rival the raindrops falling from the sky. This was the moment when he knew it was too late. This meant war. Really? An invasion by human aliens? Is that what they think we're like? Born to serve. Chapter 1, Rise from the Ashes. From the day I was born, I knew I was destined for greatness. As a member of the Avedonian household, nothing less was expected from me. My father, Avedonian the Sixth, made sure of that. My mother, however, was a worm. Not literally, mind you. She was not some sort of annelid squirming beneath the earth and living in filth. No, she was just what I would describe as the lowest form of life. Not concerning herself with matters of any importance, she instead sought to base her existence on superficialities. Not that it mattered much, as I grew to hate them both equally. For those who may want to critique me now for saying this, I have no doubt of my father's political achievements, and only those who had to live with him know about these successes came at the price of his very soul, an empty shell of a dragon driven by nothing but his performance as a politician, not as a father. Politician, huh? I wonder what the actual government is like. Preface. In the year 1422nd year since our ascent to sentience, the most extraordinary chain of events led to the most extraordinary of circumstances in our politics and society. These events have since been buried in history until I stumbled upon the records of these tumultuous times. I've taken upon myself to dramatize the events in a manner that is both accurate to history as well as entertaining to any reader who might have an interest in such stories. This is not just for my own personal gain, as I hope to make the story available to a larger audience than just a few permission to visit the archives. I believe the wisdom to be gained from ensuing tale to be more relevant to us now than ever. Sphere and how to use it. As a manual meant for the general populace, this booklet intends to bring you, the valued reader, closer to the uses and joys an Sphere might bring. I've taken utmost care to use simple language and instructions to remove the well-known barrier between individuals and knowledge of proper use of this wondrous device. For interested parties, a chapter about the Sphere's history, ideas for advanced applications, can be found later in the book. Start Guide. Step 1. Place your Sphere on a flat, stable surface. Make sure that the surface is indeed stable and flat. Expert tip. Use a spirit level in order to determine the surface is absolutely horizontal in order to prevent the Sphere from rolling off the table unintentionally. Step 2. Plug your Sphere into any fitting household outlet. Warning. Make sure the Sphere's power switch is in the off position prior to plugging it in. Step 3. Locate the power switch of the Sphere. This step may introduce some difficulties, as many different models of Spheres exist, with varying methods of turning them on and off. When in doubt, please contact your Sphere manufacturer to help with this step if necessary. Now I know how to work an Sphere, whatever that is. Maybe Rizzo left me another message here at some point. He could have known that I was going to live here, so I suppose it's possible that he helped with the preparations. He had something for me to find. No, even after removing every single book from the shelf, there is still no indicator of anything that would help me decode his secret message. But even if Riza did leave a hint, this could have been anywhere in the apartment, and not just on this bookshelf. Oh, no shampoo to be found anywhere, of course, and no hint either, just some body wash. No razors. There are some pain meds, though. Not sure if this is a good idea, but here we go. Again? Alright. I'm feeling strange. I suppose one more can't hurt because they're pain meds. Wow. Great joke. Yeah. That's what happens when you overdose on pain medication. How long was I gone? And why did I think eating a whole bottle of pain medication would somehow help with my search? Took some pain medication. That was not a good idea. Seriously, go back. I told you to go back. Time to look in the kitchen. Look in the fridge. Plenty of stuff in here. Look at the meat. It's just slab meat. Nothing special about it. Pasteurized. At least they got that down. Nope, just a regular egg. Huh, those are all of them. This is just wasted a perfectly good batch of eggs. It's in a labeled container with some sort of white liquid inside. Well, here goes nothing. It's salty. You drink a mystery liquid. There's some fruits and veggies here. If I put it on the floor and then step on it, what would happen? I'd be going on a date. Ha 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 ha. But no, there's no hint here. What do I know about figs? Quite a bit, actually. Figs are ripe with history and still enjoy some cultural significance, especially in religious circles. For example, they are the leaves with which Adam and Eve covered themselves up in the Bible's book of Genesis. It also happens to be a kind of free Buddha achieved enlightenment under. Not only that, but it is also mentioned in Greek mythology. Isn't it fascinating? But wait, there's more. The influence of figs also extends towards words, phrases, and saying we still use today. Take the word sycophant, for example, which comes from a Greek expression meaning someone who shows the fig, which was a vulgar gesture at the time, or I don't give a fig, which of course is a figure of speech. Ha 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 ha! It might as well be said that the influence of figs is as far-reaching as its fruit is succulent. Figuratively speaking, that is. I'm afraid nothing of this actually helps with Riza's letter, though. What should I look at? There are two of them. What a nice pair. So Daddy Great finds his kid crying and asks, "What's wrong, kid?" But through all the tears, the kid couldn't get a single word out. Eventually, Daddy had enough, so he said, "Stop with—" No, I won't say it. It wasn't a good joke anyway. You learned how to write a wad of foods. I learned about a wad of foods, guys! Okay. Lemons, lemons, lemons! Of course, why didn't I realize it sooner? Lemon juice is about the simplest way to write a hidden message using household items. We learned about that in chemistry in the most boring detail, of course. A message written in lemon juice on paper becomes just about invisible to the naked eye when dry. But after heating it gently, oxidation occurs, making the message visible. I was sitting next to him in class when we learned that. He made a joke about using the method to cheat on the next test, and I replied by saying he'd have to bring an iron. Had he really expected me to remember a random chemistry class that happened years ago? But then, I did remember it after all. "Meet me at the portal tonight, 10 p.m. was all the message said. I wasted a good amount of time, but I still had some left before I had to go out to meet Riza, so I decided to make some lunch. I could have made some scrambled eggs if I hadn't broken all of them earlier. Afterwards, I resumed reading my book about the continuing adventures of Sheridan and her exploits in destroying culture artifacts. Unsurprisingly, it came to a happy end, but the evil organization stopped in tracks, at least for now. Thought the ending was deliberately left open for ambiguity, but when I turned the page and saw the advertisement for the next entry in this apparently long-running series of books, I realized all this had just been a ploy to set up the inevitable sequel. Luckily, the disappointment didn't last long, as I had to get going to meet Riza at the portal. When I got outside, it didn't seem quite as dark as it was when I arrived yesterday. I might have had difficulties finding my way otherwise, but I could still see the portal in the distance. As I was walking, I wondered if anyone was following me, but the land seemed oddly deserted. Was everyone already asleep? Shoot, let me get rid of the... Perfect. Okay. I eventually arrived at my destination. Riza was already standing idly by the portal, his fidgeting making it obvious that we had been just waiting for me. I was already wondering whether you get it at all. What did you expect? What a wonderful night it is. Just look up at the stars. We'd see them so clearly here, without all the pollution lingering in the air like back home, almost as if we were looking right into the face of eternity itself. For so long, humanity thought we'd find aliens out there. Yet after all these years, we found we were still alone in the universe. Turns out we were just not looking in the right place. What's going on, Riza? Why did you call me here at this time? For one, because we're sending the generator home. Right, before I was sent here, they told me they would limit the use of the portal, as they couldn't afford to keep it open all the time, in order to keep contact with us, and to enable us to send things over to them. The portal would be open for just a quarter of an hour each day. Sending something back home wasn't really problematic for us, since the high energy expenditure associated with sending bigger objects only affected the sender, not the receiver. However, this has also meant that until all business is concluded, in regards to our trade with PDAs and generators, we were basically stuck here. As for the other, do you know what this place is? You said something about trouble. How much danger are we really in? More than enough, I'm afraid. This whole place will be gone soon. And we better not be here when it happens. What are you talking about? I hoped you'd see it too, but then it took me a while to understand, and I had a head start on you. In any case, while he was speaking, my gaze wandered and fixed on some movement nearby. It was hard to make out anything, but I imagine it might have just been wind blowing nearby shrubbery, except for the fact that there was no wind. Riza, this might take a while to explain, but we got the whole night. Riza, look! He turned and faced what I was seeing. He squinted hard before he called out, "You! How dare you follow me even here?" The disturbance came close, till it became clear that it was Maverick, who had hidden nearby to listen in our conversation. "I knew you were up to no good. What are you talking about? What are you planning here? Some kind of attack?" "Wait a minute. There's no reason for—" "Don't try to deny it. I heard you both talking about it in the cafe, and I saw the letter. You think I didn't smell the lemon on it? Pathetic. You'll have to come with me to the police station now, both of you." "Come on, I think you're overacting, Bill." "Riza, what are you doing?" "Come on, Will, let's get out of here." In the dragon's side, I could see the wound where the bullet had penetrated his eye. A trickle of blood staining his dark scales, and the earth breathed. Riza used the opportunity to run off in some direction. I wasn't sure which. I frantically scanned my surroundings, looking for Riza, though he had already vanished into the darkness. What was I supposed to do? Run away as well? Help Maverick? I was just a diplomat, and I had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, the dragon whipped around, hitting me in the guts with his thick tail. I was lifted off the ground briefly before I felt the impact of my body hitting the ground hard enough that my vision blurred almost immediately. A deafening roar battered my ears. Was this his cry for help? I could barely move, but I found it better not to try, as to not startle the wounded dragon more than he already was. It certainly would have ended badly for me if he tried anything. I heard him... Oh, shit. I heard him take a few unsure steps before he laid on the ground panting.
I'm still watching you, you know, and you better not move, for your own good. If I have to get up again and come after you in this condition, I can promise you I won't be nice.
It took a few minutes of listening to his labored breathing before someone arrived. There's two dragons. The first I recognized as Sebastian. The other I didn't know. I heard Sebastian and Maverick exchange a few words when the stocky fellow approached me.
Hey, kid. You alright?
Still feeling a little dizzy. I'm Bryce, the chief of police in this town. Can you tell me what happened? Visa shot Maverick and ran off. Is that so? His face was stern and seemingly lost in thought as he overheard Sebastian's conversation. Yeah, but you're the flyer on duty. We probably won't find him now, not here in the darkness at any rate.
Well, that's just brilliant.
What do you think, Chief?
Will, can you walk?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, Sebastian, take Will to the apartment. Get us some help here from Maverick, and then we'll look for Riza.
Riza. Right on. Come on, Will, I'll help you up. I was still shaken by the events I just witnessed when I arrived at my apartment, not knowing anything better to do. I soon fell into a deep slumber. And, ladies and gentlemen, while our lovely Will goes into his deep slumber, we're going to call it here. Whoo boy, so, things sure are picking up really fast. So, yeah. Diplomatic incident, basically. Diplomatic incident. It's just great, just great. So... Whoo boy. Man, I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens. Can't really say anything, so I don't spoil anything. But, until then, thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to have more content, especially more dragon dating shenanigans here at Angels with Scaly Wings. Also, please... God, I'm not used to this. But anyway... Also, there we go, I remember now. Also, make sure to share this video far and wide so we can get as many eyes on the series as possible. There we go. I will see you all next time when I finally learn how to be a content creator again.